So today we're going to look at how to convert customary conversions. This method we will be using is the conversion train method. I wanted to make a separate video using proportions and proportions only, but let's go ahead and get started. So a few things that we need to know. When we're going from a large unit to a small unit, we will need to multiply. When we are going from a small unit to a large unit, we will need to divide. And then a conversion chart will be needed. Let's go ahead and jump into a practice question. So we have 48 cups and we're trying to figure out how many gallons is in 48 cups. So our step one, it says draw your train. So we will determine our train boxes by the number of units that this has. So since we're talking about capacity, we have gallons, quarts, pints, cups, and fluid ounces. So that would mean you would need 5 boxes. From there, we determine our values that we either multiply or divide by from our conversion chart. And we simply just place in our values based off the relationship. From there, we would then put in what we know. We know we have 48 cups. From there, we know we're going to gallons. So we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So we would need to divide. So I would just simply divide 48. 48 by 2, that gives me 24. 24 divided by 2, that gives me 12. And then 12 divided by 4, we get 3. So now we know that 48 gallons or 48 cups is equal to 3 gallons. Let's look at a practice problem. Equals how many 15 inches? Yards is equal to how many? First, we would need to have to draw my boxes based off the information that's on the conversion chart. We know that we would need 4 boxes: miles, yards, feet, and inches. We will continue to use the information from the conversion chart to determine what we'll be multiplying or dividing by. Remember, when we go from large to small, we multiply, and when we go from small to large, we divide. And we will use the same numbers, top and bottom. Third, we would put in the information that we know. We know we have 15 yards. And we're converting those yards to inches. So therefore, we're going from large to small, so I would multiply. 15 times 3, I get 45. And then 45 times 12, I get 540. So we know that 15 yards is equal to 540 inches. Let's look at number 2. My first step is to draw my boxes. We know we're going from cups to quarts. So again, I would use the information from my conversion chart to determine how many boxes I need. We're talking about capacity, which is gallons, quarts, pints, cups, and fluid ounces. So I would need 5 boxes. Next, I will put in my multipliers or my dividers. And all this information comes from our formula chart. Step 3, we will put in the correct unit of what we know. We know we have 18 cups. So I will put the 18 where the cups are at. And I'm going to quarts. So in this case, I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So I would simply divide. 18 divided by 2, I get 9. 9 divided by 2, I get 4.5. So we know that 18 cups is equal to 4.5 or 4.5 quarts. Let's look at example number 3. First things first, we have to draw our boxes. So we look at our information from our formula chart. We have tons, pounds, ounces. So therefore, I would need 3 boxes. Tons, pounds, ounces. Step 2, now we place in our values based off our conversion chart. We know that 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds, and 1 pound has 16 ounces. And I would do the same thing under my divide. Step 3, we place in what we know. We have 9 pounds, so I would place that in the pounds box. And we're going to ounces. So therefore, we're going from a large to a small. So we would multiply 16 times 9, and that gives me 144 ounces. So we know that 9 pound equals 104 ounces. Let's look at a word problem or two, doing the same steps. Ms. Mack used 54 yards and 15 feet of fabric to make a dress. What is the length in fabric in feet? So we're going from yards to feet. We know 15 is already feet, so we don't have to convert that. But again, we have to know our information from our conversion chart. Miles, yards, feet, and inches. Remember, when we're going from a large to small, we multiply. And then when we go from a small to a large, we divide. Let's place in the information that we know. We know we have 54 yards, and we're converting that to feet. So in this case, we're going from a large to a small. So we'll go 54 times 3, and I get 162 feet. But again, that's not my answer. We already know we have 15 feet. So we're going to add those two together to get our total amount of fabric in feet. So 162 plus 15, we get 177 feet total. Let's look at another word problem. A container holds 40 cups of water. How many gallons can the container hold? So we're just simply converting those cups into gallons. We're talking about capacity, so we know we're going to need 5 boxes: gallons, quarts, pints, cups, and fluid ounces. Placing our values: times 4, times 2, times 2, times 8. And do the same thing when we're dividing. Divide by 8, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 4. Now place in what we know from our problem. We know we have 40 cups, and we're trying to convert those into gallons. So therefore, we're going from a small unit to a large unit. So therefore, I would divide. 40 divided by 2, I get 20. 20 divided by 2, I get 10. And then 10 divided by 4, I get 2.5 or 2.5 gallons. So I know that 40 cups is equal to 2.5 gallons. Practice these independently and let me know how you do.